Hi, and welcome to our introductory workout for Fitness Presence. So happy you're here. I'm John Garrity, the creator of Fitness Presence, and today we're going to do an introductory workout that's going to take about 15 minutes, and it's going to introduce you to an approach to exercise that's comprehensive, integrative, and incredibly safe. And as a 62-year-old, I've worked on this program for the past 15 years, and it's enabled me to continue to improve my fitness while just investing 1% of my time on a daily basis, and to do it in a way that was super safe and, for me, a lot of fun. Fitness to me means the ability to do whatever you want to do, right? I'm fit to do my life. And so that includes strength, it includes flexibility, balance, cardiovascular fitness, body leanness, resistance to injury, and we're going to work on all of those elements. And today we're just going to introduce the ideas, and we're going to take you through a little 15-minute workout. It's about 1% of your day. And we'll talk about ranges of movement, planes of movement, and then again there'll be videos following up that will go deeper into strength and cardio and flexibility, etc. But let's go ahead and get started. So with all your fitness, you're always going to want to be very conscious, right? Fitness presence is about being present to the movement. And so as we start here, we're going to start up. I like to start up on my toes. Depends on what your balance is like, whether that works best for you or not. But if you start up, you can have a nice feel. You want to find that balance. And as it relates to breath, we're going to come through and breathe through that full range of movement. And we're just going to do a nice, gentle little squat here, and come back up and breathe. So we'll talk about strength first. And strength, the body's adapting to whatever it is that we're doing, always. And it's essentially like fitness is an evolutionary response to the physical challenges that we face. And so if we want to continue to get more and more fit, it's incumbent upon us to make the environment consistently more and more challenging. But what I think is important to recognize is it doesn't have to be radically more challenging than what you're currently able to do. In fact, even if you get just toward the edges of what your current capabilities are, your body's going to adapt and try to make those better. So what we're doing here is really what we would call freestanding squats using gravity. And then you'll notice that my hands are together, and I'm considering that you're doing the same. Press those hands together and push through. And that's isokinetic exercise. That means you're using one limb to press through a range of movement against another limb to create resistance. And we're doing this on what they call the sagittal plane, which means we're coming right at you. I'm coming right at you. And so this movement is a forward movement. What we're going to do next, staying on the focus of strength and presence, we're going to go into what is known as the frontal plane. And there's really three planes to move on. Sagittal means this, frontals side to side, and then transverse. And we'll do them all. In this one here, we're going to reach up above our heads, keeping the breath nice. And you want to make sure that you have a big enough stride so that you can get a nice movement from side to side and allow a good stretch. And you may have to adjust your legs based on what your flexibility is. And you want to move a little bit side to side. And so now we're pulling our arms apart. That's the isokinetic piece. We're still using gravity with our legs. And with our core, we're using a third type of resistance, which is called antagonist resistance. And antagonist resistance is essentially the muscles inside the body are wrestling with each other without necessarily having to have limb-to-limb resistance. So if you think about this frontal plane movement, going side to side, we're using our core, our obliques primarily, to pull from side to side. And so one side is really wrestling the other. And we're building strength through that internal resistance, through that range of movement. And we'll do a third movement, and we're going to do this on that transverse plane. So press your hands together again and push around. And so when you think about strength, there's three different ways that we're creating resistance on the body. We talked about gravity, which is always there. We're going to talk about isokinetic, which is pressing limb to limb. And then the third is antagonist. So we're rotating the body, but we're not just going to allow it to rotate. We want to resist that movement as we come through. And so in this moment right here, we're working, think about your legs, you're doing that front lunge and that Deep lunge right there, so you're getting some flexibility in the hip flexor, some strength throughout the body. The core's rotating with the antagonist resistance, and one hand is pressing into the other. And as you do this work, even though it's nice and slow, because the resistance is consistent, you'll notice that your heart rate begins to elevate as well. And so in this very simple, safe, gentle movement that's easy to follow, you're working on strength, flexibility, cardiovascular fitness. You'll also notice that we have some balance work, right? As we're coming across, we're coordinating that movement, balancing, come all the way through. And again, perfect. Now we're gonna come back and we're gonna do a little more sagittal work, but this time here, we'll pull our arms apart as we're going up to down. And let's put our feet out a little bit instead of having them straight forward. So you do a little bit of a kind of like a plie that would be in dance, and come back up to the top. Maybe find your tiptoes up at the top. When you're coming to the top, I want you to think about pressing your hips a little bit forward, finding that balance, pulling your shoulder blades down your back, and then come back through and breathe. Nice and gentle, all the way through. Good, and let's do that again, all the way to the top. Let's get a couple more of these. And maybe up at the top this time we flip our grip, so the other hand is up. Pull it all the way through, nice and deep. This next time, let's come down. As you come underneath, I'd like you to press into the ground and straighten your hamstrings and get a little bit of a stretch there. So you're straightening the legs, getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch, and then we'll come back down again and breathe. Come back to the top, all the way up. Bring it down and breathe. Get a nice little stretch, push through. Bring it back down again. Good. Now we're going to do side to side again, but I'd like you to press one hand into the other, come over the top, and do you remember we were leaning away from the bent knee? So this time we're going to lean toward the bent knee as you lay down and keep that resistance. Now I want you to feel almost like a reed that's floating in the water, and you're very fluid in your movement. You're going to come back across and breathe. Nice, and keep breathing. So because the movements are as slow as they are, you're not holding your breath or making one breath equal the movement. I just want you to keep breathing, be conscious of it. Be conscious of the resistance, pressing one hand into the other, one leg, moving that resistance, pressing to the other side, moving. Now through here, you're pulling with your core and you're coming across. And then you're allowing that to pull and stretch you. And then you're gonna pull with the long side and pull and contract and come on back and bring it around. Good. Let's elevate those elbows and pull through with another isokinetic pull. We're gonna rotate. And again, what we can do to change this up a little bit is just shorten the distance between the legs, bring this back leg straight underneath us and rotate through. And then again, breathing and rotating all the way through. Nice rotation. Bring it deep and down. Good. Nice work. Keep breathing through. So by making it difficult for you with strength, flexibility, cardiovascular fitness, balance, coordination, your body will automatically continue to get better and better. And so what I've found, and what I've found with a lot of the clients that I work with, is that we can continue to get much better with our fitness and do it in a way that's super safe, that doesn't take a lot of time, doesn't require any equipment, and it's incredibly portable. So you can do this anywhere you go, right? You could do this on vacation, you can do this in a hotel room, you can do this at your gym or at the beach or in the mountains. So let's do a few more coming back. We're gonna do a little bit different. We're gonna get our hands here, and this is gonna be sagittal, so I'm gonna be going back and forth.
So again, we're using gravity, of course, here, but we're also going to resist the movement. So it's also isokinetic in the movement, and then press back and push forward. So the arms are resisting the legs. And you're going to breathe back, push it back down. Coming all the way across. And breathe and push it back. So the legs are pressing, the arms are resisting. You're going through a nice full range of movement, bringing it down nice and deep. Then press back again and breathe. Let's go one more. Good. So now let's go side to side, but let's also keep some of that movement in the hands. So get your hands steady down, and you're going to press yourself from side to side. And as you're moving, push both with the legs and the arms to get good resistance. The more you lean out over your hands, the more the weight's going to rest in your arms. So find that balance that works really good for you. The perfect amount of resistance in your arms and your legs. So you're going through the movements and feeling that strength in your arms, the strength in your legs, and also flexibility as you're working on the adductors there, pushing through and breathing all the way around. And then if we want to do transverse, we can just walk our way around, get a nice stretch, press back, drop in, press it back again, and rotate around to the opposite side. Get a nice press into a nice deep lunge, stretch it back, drop it back down, and come across. And what we're doing is we're rotating through this movement. So we're going to do a couple of things that require some more balance, just to make sure we're hitting on all elements. So if we're doing something on a sagittal plane, balance-wise, you just pull your knee up and in. You may feel comfortable kicking it out. Raise your arms up. Slowly and smoothly, bringing it back behind you. And again, with balance work, you're actually trying to be right at the edge, so you should be almost losing your balance. If it's very easy for you to do, it's not going to force your body to continue to get better and better, as it will if you work in this range. So let's flip sides again. Raise up, kick it forward, bring it back and smooth. Nice stretch. Come back up again, breathe. Kick it out, bring it back. So this is balancing on a sagittal plane. Of course, there's a bit of strength, right? Because you're coming through, you're extending with the quadricep. You're pulling back as you pull the legs back. You're gonna be engaging your glutes. Now, get that leg up nice and high. Pull it forward and set it down. On a frontal plane, to do balance, you can just pull your leg up to the side and kick it out, or hold it wherever you'd like, right? So we're learning to find balance in lots of different ways. So we'll switch sides, come again, lift and press, and drop it down. So wherever you are, your edge is exactly where you're supposed to be, because that's where your body is going to meet you to continue to enhance your capabilities. For instance, many people are not going to have the same balance as I have, because I do this a lot, but some other people are going to have much better balance and better flexibility, etc. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is that you are at your edge. Kick it out. Bring it back down. Kick it out. Bring it back down. And they'll do a real quick transverse balance. Just again, for movement, find your balance, kick out,
And again, you can do this with your knee, or if you like, you can extend your leg out and bring it down. Switch sides, find the balance. Swing that around. Again, so that's transverse, right? Rotational around the core with balance. All the way out and around. Let's do one more each side, and then we'll do a little bit of a cool down. And this last one, out, up, and in, and around. Yay. So cooling down, what we're doing, the movements are gonna look similar. We just take some of the resistance out. So instead of resisting as you stand, right, you're just gonna allow it to be very gentle. As you're moving your body, you're not going to resist. We're not gonna use antagonist resistance. We're just gonna move gently and make sure you're getting your breath right back where you want it to be, all the way through. Get a nice stretch, make sure you're feeling good. Come back up and breathe. All the way back down again. We're gonna be right around 15 minutes. So again, that was about 1% of your day. And what we learned is very simply and safely with big, slow movements, we worked on some strength, cardiovascular, balance, coordination, flexibility. And we've done it in a way that strengthens our body without having impact forces, so it helps us to resist injury as well. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll focus more on specific strength, and I'll show you how to do that, and we'll talk about different intensities of strength. Have a great day.